If you are struggling financially or have poor money management skills, continue to watch this video. Now, I am not a professional financial advisor. This isn't what this video is about, but it is about how to get better with your money and really just how to make sure that you're being that you're putting yourself in a position to become more financially stable and not making all the stupid decisions and things that I did that I'll get into. But before we go on, if you all can subscribe to the channel because we're going to keep growing the thing. We're going to keep talking. Now, story time. Back in 2018, I hit rock bottom financially. I was running an apparel company. I was bootstrapping it. We were growing. We were hitting good revenue, I guess 2 years later in 2020. So not in 2018 we weren't, but I was putting basically every dime that I earned through online personal training and every dime that I had in savings into the apparel company to the point where basically hit rock bottom, had a few $100s in my bank account, didn't know how I was going to pay my rent. But the good thing was I had a job opportunity that came through. I accepted the offer. They called me a few days later and they rescinded the offer and they said, hey, the client is pulling back on the contract, so we can't pull you on to work on this contract. Now, I called my parents at the time. Thank God for them. They've always been so supportive of myself and my brother, and they helped out big time. They said, look, for the rest of the year, we're going to pay your rent. Just do not quit on 413 Apparel, which is my apparel company. Continue to grow. Job's going to come through. Do your thing. So a few weeks later, that job did come through. So that was helpful, but I was still pretty broke. Now, what I did after I got that job was I started to become a whole lot smarter with my money because I realized, I don't ever want to get to the point where I'm looking down the barrel of my bills and being like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pay this. And I just don't know what to do. So 4 things that I did. Number one, first thing that I did was I identified my money bucket. So money flows. It doesn't just go and get stuck and stay typically. But what I did was I wanted to bolster my savings. So that was a money bucket. Second one was, weekly and monthly expenses. I knew that I had expenses, right? I had to get food. I had different subscriptions. I had rent at the time, those things. Third thing is I wanted to put a little bit aside for outings and vacation. Nothing crazy, but just something where if I'm taking a trip or I have to, book a flight somewhere or something, I didn't feel so stressed and strapped and being like, ooh, I have to pull this out of, my paycheck and I just wasn't planned for it. So, every time that I did receive a paycheck, I took $50 out and I just put it, in a separate account and being like, hey, that's just for outings. That's for vacation. That's kind of really guilt-free spending when I go out and do something. So I have it there. And the last thing was I started putting money away to buy a house, to buy property, things of that nature. And that was in 2018. So that's something where I knew that was the long game. But what it helped me do was it helped me when I got income, I just didn't spend it wildly. I was like, okay, this money is going for a purpose. And if I don't see it right now, I know that it's set aside for that purpose, right? So again, identify your money buckets. Second thing, this is a fun one. I started dating smarter. So back in 2019, early 2019 is when Carly and I reconnected. And the one thing that I realized was, especially living in San Diego, or if you live in a hub city, dating can be expensive. You're going out to dinners, you're doing things like people always want to impress and everything. And so I took a step back and I was like, well, you know what? I really don't have money like that. So dating and getting back into it, I started to assess, women based on like the types of dates that they wanted. Like I would always be like, hey, let's grab coffee or do something that was really light on the pockets. And sometimes that wasn't received well. And I realized, okay, well, that's not somebody who, for me, we're not going to last long because if everything has to be around something expensive and something to do, then if I put this in place now, you're going to always think that this is what I want or that this is the standard. And for me, I'm like, that's not kind of how I roll. And that's not kind of how I want to do things. I actually like doing other things that might not require money. Like I like going on walks. I like runs. I like working out. I like slow mornings, grabbing coffee, those type of things. And I realized was, this is actually the archetype of a woman that I like. And it's no shame on anybody who wants the other things, who wants the expensive dinners, expensive, stuff, gifts or whatever. But I'm like, that just wasn't me. So when I started dating better, what I realized was, hey, from a financial standpoint, I'm able to keep more finances while also increase the quality of my dates and of my life and finding someone who aligns with that as well. And with Carly, we're very similar when it comes to money. Like we'll spend money on, experiences that we want or we, investing in land, house, those type of things. But other than that, it's like we don't really spend a whole lot of money because we like doing things that don't really require a lot of money. So when you start to identify, from a dating perspective, how much that is costing you, that's also going to help too, because that's going to factor into one, how you're spending your money and how, the recurring expenses with the recurring dates are going to be. So again, start dating smarter. That's going to help. Number 3 is I started investing in stocks instead of short-term purchases. So I saw this on some podcasts a few years back, and I actually started probably doing this probably 4 years ago, but it was like, oh, every time I wanted to go buy a shoe from a shoe company, I just invested in the shoe company. That's what the person said. And I started to think about that, and I was like, oh, when I got that tech job, I started to get more money. And so with that, I was like, oh, okay, I have some more spending money that I could spend stuff on, and I have some excess dollars. And so instead of just buying nonsense, if I thought about spending money on, some new shoes or something, I have this app called Stash, and it's where you can invest in different companies and so on. I would find that company, and I would invest the amount that let's say shoe would cost me into that company. So let's say there was a Nike shoe that I really, really wanted that cost me $100, and I was like, you know what? Instead of buying that shoe, because once I buy that and wear it once, like you're typically not going to resell it or whatever. It's going to get dirty and mess up within a few months anyway, and then you're going to be throwing it out or giving it away. I'm going to invest in Nike stock. I'm going to put $100 in Nike stock. I still do that to this day. If I'm like, there's a purchase that I'm like, oh, you know what? I kind of don't need, but I want it, but I really know that I don't need it, and it's not going to add any like exponential value to my life or to my family's life. I'll invest that money into the actual company of that stock and just let it sit, right? And it's cool because I have seen those stocks rise over the years. So I highly suggest doing that. Again, I'm no financial advisor, but from a money mindset, I was like, oh, I want some things that where my money's going to grow versus just getting a bunch of stuff just to have stuff. The last thing that I did was I created a full picture spreadsheet. Now, Carly and I still do this to this day. Every month, at the end of the month, we have a spreadsheet that has all of our revenue streams. It tracks our spending when it comes to our monthly recurring, when it comes to, our overall kind of food spend and everything. We don't just like itemize it. We're not that crazy with it, but we have a lot of buckets that the money that comes in, and then also where the money comes out. And what that does is that gives us a full picture of where our spending is going to, where our investments are going to, how things are growing, and then the benchmarks and certain things. So if you've known me for some time, or if you've been watching this channel, you knew that in last August, we acquired some land. So why we haven't built the tiny home on it yet is because we're like, oh, we're trying to hit a certain benchmark from a monetary and financial standpoint before we make that purchase, before we're comfortable enough saying, okay, cool, we can do this now, because if this and this income doesn't come in, it's all good because we have enough where we can cover this and we're solid, right? So when you make that spreadsheet, you're actually able to look at where you're at and where you want to be and make adjustments. We consistently make adjustments. We're about to have a daughter that's going to come into the world, and that's going to be some other expenses and stuff like that. And so once those things come in, some money that's flowing out into other buckets, we'll probably pull back on because we're like, oh, we just don't really need that. It's not the biggest of value at that time. So let's move it over here, right? So again, things that you can do if you are, stressed from money and you're trying to stop it. You're like, hey, where do I stop the bleeding? How can I do these things? These 4 things are very easy. Number 1, identify your money buckets. If you know where your money's going to, it's going to help you so much better. Number 2, date smarter. Dating takes a lot of money. You're spending a lot of money. If you're looking to find somebody who is not just like all about the money, then do things that are not all about the money and make sure people are there for you. Number 3, invest in stocks instead of making short-term purchases. So invest in the company instead of just buying and being a consumer of the company. You become an owner instead of a consumer. And then the last thing is create a full picture spreadsheet so you know where your dollars are going to and you're able to project in the future where you want to be. So I hope that this helps. Again, I have no financial advice, but this is just what's helped me really go from where I was rock bottom in 2018 to where I'm now 6-7 years later, which has been a completely 180 shift. So yeah, that's it. See you all next video. Peace.